2024 has been an insane year for gaming. It feels like every week we have a new game coming out that's going to just blow the socks off of us just instantly. You have games like Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Power World, just a lot of games coming out. The one I think has been easily the biggest one so far that no one expected. The one I think has been the biggest one and probably will be the one that has the biggest staying power so far has to be Helldivers 2. Now this recording is before the launch officially of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so I will be making a video on that, but this is totally separate, and I do think this game is going to be staying around for a long time. Personally, I've spent a lot of time in this game. I played with my community, I played solo, I played with randoms and matchmaking, and I gotta say, this game is one of one. What I mean by that is that it allows you, no matter your experience level, no matter your skill level, to just load up the game, jump in, and initially have fun. What I've been saying on my stream is that I personally feel that this is a very fun action sack type of game, probably more like a party game. Being able to just get with some friends or even do matchmaking and just, liberate the entire solar system basically, and, protect Super Earth, as a lot of memes have been like generating. All in all, one of the most fun games I've played in a long time that is incredibly addicting, and before I knew it, the hours were just flying by. A lot of reasons to play are to just shoot enemies, destroy robots, meme around, have fun, blow up your friends, all the stuff that just will make the hours go by and have fun. Especially in the time and day where a lot of games are getting up in price, with this one being on the lower end of pricing, it's also very easy for someone to think it's worth getting into as well. I've had a lot of discussions on my stream, and the biggest one that a lot of people have said that I was kind of surprising is that this game right now is the game of the year. Personally, I responded back to people saying that, generally game of the year are going to be to the Final Fantasies of the world, maybe the God of Wars and the Spider-Mans and the Elden Rings, those games that are mainly focused on the universe and the combat and the storytelling. However, as I really, sat back and thought about it, I do think this is probably the game that will have a lot of staying power in other categories, specifically in the community. The community itself has been, dare I say, the forefront of pushing the game in the direction that they wanted to go. They're already squashing out, if you look on their Reddit, they're squashing out certain BS around being super duper toxic regarding kicking players and regarding to metas and the higher difficulties and things like that. And with not even a couple weeks into the game's life cycle, seeing that already being some foundational standards is very telling, as long as the developers can keep it going, at where the community could push this game to be. Some people are really concerned or maybe confused or questioning what the long-term investment or end goal may be to you, and I can't answer that question, but I do personally think that for a lot of players, as long as they figure out a way, the developers, to keep putting out content at a decent pace, that the ability to just dive into the game and keep it on your game Rolodex or in your game cycle is pretty high. Bringing it back to the game of the year discussion, I do think this is probably going to be at the end of the year, and I'm probably speaking super early, but I do think Helldivers 2 is one of the best games that I've played this year, but I also think it's one of the best community games I've played in a long time. Being able to play with my community is something I do all the time on my Twitch stream, and for lack of better, experiences, sometimes certain games work better than others. Some games are really fun, however, there's a very high barrier to entry for getting new players in and getting caught up to speed. Sometimes you get super duper hardcore players that kind of ruin the experience for other people. And at least for my experience so far, I've played with people that were starting off. I had a person literally download the game while I was streaming and then jumped in, and we had a lot of fun for a good 2 hours, and they got a lot of levels, they got a lot of experience and a lot of gear and a lot of good laughs. And I played with a lot of level 50 players who, they did their own thing. They were a ton of fun to play with as well, and it didn't feel like they were ruining the experience for other players. And that's what you want as a community. You want that people can dive into your game at any point and feel like they can contribute, feel like they can get a solid to amazing experience no matter what, And no FOMO and all that kind of stuff. That will probably be a situation for down the line as far as like the armor and stuff. But I do think this is a fantastic game. I do think this game has the potential to have the game of the year in certain categories. Maybe not game of the year in general, but I do think, I've said multiple times already, that the community has the possibility to be like, the best game for community, also one of the best multiplayer games, and probably some other things like the sound design is really really good as well, and the environment is just, some of these planets are just phenomenal. And we don't even have the mechs who were leaked already, but the mechs are also fantastic, as from the little bit that I've seen could change the dynamic of the game and add some freshness into the game, which, because as of right now you're pretty much only fighting mechs, or fighting robots, and fighting bugs. And then apparently there's another like Illuminati or whatever they're calling enemy variant that should be coming soon after the mechs. So if all this works out well, we could have a lot of enemies that we can fight. Giving players a reason to play and fighting different enemy variants is going to be really really neat and kind of necessary, but also giving us new tools to like shell out destruction in new and fresh ways is also super duper important for the longevity of this game. Saying all that, I have no doubt that the developers, the game masters as they call themselves, are understanding and are going to put this game in the appropriate direction. If you're not really a fan of this game, I know some people don't like this game, I totally get it, but I highly recommend doing yourself a favor, give it a few friends who might want to check it out or are already checking it out, and have them bring you up to speed, and see if you can join the democracy. Hopefully we get some good updates in the future and this game can stick around and stay relevant, which I definitely think it has a big opportunity to do. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.